They'll be around you too. No, they can't. Yeah, here, they'll be here, right. Oh, yeah. Actually.
Do you want me to make the announcement to people at home, the technical difficulties we're having when you start?
Yeah, here, they'll be here.
I think that would be appropriate.
Oh, yeah.
Pam and I will. Yep, just exit out. Do you want me to make the announcement to people at home, the technical difficulties we're having when you start? Just go, yep, right there.
They'll be here.
I think
Then go back down to the very bottom, Pam, for your Zoom. Yep, keep going to the right on the bottom where it says Zoom. Yep, one of those little blue icons. There you go. Sue's iPhone. All right. You can start, Jerry, I guess.
all set.
Yep.
I'll wait till Jim Wilkins stops talking.
When did you start? You can wait.
I wouldn't wait that long.
No.
I was trying to get his attention. Hey, Jim, can I start the meeting?
Where I want to start it?
Yes, I will start it with your permission.
Go ahead.
You are the president.
I'm all ready.
All right, I welcome everyone to this board meeting, the Rushtown Board, September 13th, 2023. Welcome everyone at home also. I would like it if you would join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you. And will our town clerk please call the roll?
Councilman Chase,
Here.
Councilwoman Corbin,
Here.
Councilman Morale,
Here.
Councilman Bolivar,
Here.
and Supervisor Busey.
I am here. Thank you.
Say anything about technology? You want to say it?
And explain to anyone listening at home, you can hear us, but anyone trying to view it on YouTube, we are having some technical difficulties with our camera. So hopefully you'll be able to hear us clearly.
And when we share our screens, you will be able to see that. Fingers crossed. Supervisor.
Thank you. Thank you. A couple of quick announcements. At the end of this meeting, we will adjourn and go into an executive session and then an attorney-client privilege session. Another announcement is that for those of you who are interested, I believe there's probably a lot of people signed up to speak here tonight. So I would ask you to honor the 3-minute rule. If you'd like to talk beyond that, we'll give you some time later. But during the public comment session, please honor the 3-minute rule and be civil. So who would like to start? I thought so. Your name and address, please. For those of us who don't know you.
Oh, I'm back again. Hopefully for the last time. My name is Jim Wilkins. I'm born and raised across the street, lived in town going on 77 years. My wife and I now live at 5891 East Henrietta Road. And we've been there 53 years. I'm here tonight. I'm also the president of Rush Senior Citizens. I'm here tonight because I was recently told that they were giving us some subsidies for our travel club. It's within the senior citizen group, and they're canceling that. And I guess we got our lawyer to thank, the town lawyer to thank for that, because he looked up an obsolete law back in 1978 that said we couldn't use state funds or federal funds to fund the senior travel groups. So I appreciate that. It was a nice job. So anyway, the other thing is, let me give you a little history about the Senior Citizen Club. It started in 1965. The travel part of the club started soon after that. It's been going on for many years. And with, there's a group of seniors that like to travel, and, they are, and I thought that we were using money, town money for the seniors, for giving us, it's out of the recreation committee, and I thought we were using town money. I didn't realize that they were using those funds. I think it's unfortunate that the town board took this stance. I think to be anti-senior and to be resident of Rush residents, our minimum or our average age in town is about 50. So you got to know that a lot of seniors in this town, and they have some good programs. They have some good programs for kids. They have some good programs for seniors, but they decided to dissolve this one. I talked to our representative, our senator. I talked to our county legislator. Both are looking into it. Our county legislator, by the way, lives in Honeoye Falls, and the town of Honeoye Falls, the village of Mendon and the town of Honeoye Falls split the amount. They still do that. So if you want to send the sheriff up there, maybe you want to go. So anyway, I think it's time to think out of the box. If it's true we can't use those funds, how about using the funds we take in from the pavilion? Using the funds that you folks are, whatever you do with the out here with the tower. I mean, think out of the box. We're not asking for an awful lot of money. I mean, maybe we should cut back. I mean, every year I've been asked if we want to get more money, raise our budget. I think I've only accepted that once. And that was a couple, 3 years ago. I've been president now for a while, but it's just crazy to me that you got seniors that are taxpayers in this town and also voters in this town that are being subject to this. I think it's a disgrace. I think it's wrong. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you, Jim.
And there is an odd doorbell dinging. It's something to do with this technology. So we're just all going to have to, unfortunately, we can't figure out what it is. So we apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt. I've just been watching your faces going, what is that sound?
Nancy?
Can I follow up this?
Yes. Just name and address for those of us who don't know you.
And so people at home can hear you, speak right into the microphone.
I'm Nancy Miller. I live on Stony Brook Road in a fairly new house. Ours burned. And I've only been here for only 55 years. I want to address the same problem. I was on recreation when we first gave this money out of we had a recreation commission, which is now disbanded. This is a pretty important thing to seniors. It says in this thing that we got, this rule, that a private organization cannot get it. I don't believe we're a private organization. I truly believe that we're part of the Rush Recreation, which is not, I don't believe it's private. Statistically, Rush has a population of over 50% seniors. Over 50%. We're saying, oh, can't have any money anymore. The town funds, I think, should be for all citizens, including taxpaying seniors. And the funds designated in the recreation budget assist Rush seniors in meeting a vital travel program and a place for our monthly meetings. We cannot meet here. We cannot meet in families out there. We have too many people. We have over 100. That's pretty good. The seniors programs are run by volunteers and with no town personnel expense put out. In fact, just the recreation director comes and eats part of our food. That's, we pay them. We have no senior center. Think about Rush and Henrietta. They're supporting a whole senior center. We ought to support something here. It's gonna drive me crazy, guys. The Rush seniors have been highly successful here since Joe Ho started 50-some years ago. 50 years of doing this, and now we're told that federal funds were involved. We're sorry we did wrong, but we had no idea the federal funds. And when I voted on it, when I was in recreation, we were not told it was federal funds. The funds came from the board. So something's fishy. Thank you.
Thank you. Did anyone from home like?
Put a message out and so far no one, unless I'll ask the town clerk. I see two of them. One of them might be me. Is there someone else on there? If you can click on the chat just above it. Yep, right there.
Yes, we'll fill the gap. Your name and address, please.
I don't see anyone.
Vitor Bujak, I live at 364 Stony Road, in the Rush. I built my house by mistake. I'm that guy.
You can pull that towards you if you'd like.
It was 32 years ago when I moved to Russia. I love the place. So I'd like to follow up on the earlier discussion. And really got me to think about what is really the town doing regarding the senior citizens. I believe that you should have a standard of care. And you should start working on preparing a standard of care in which you really say, what are you going to do? What is your contribution to seniors of town of Rush? I really like to commend somebody who found a document from 1978 to shut down donations to senior travel. And I don't really have to stress how important it is for the seniors to contribute to their travel after all this disaster with COVID, when social behavior completely changed, people are not really seeing each other anymore. And regarding the senior citizens, they are really isolating houses more than anybody else. So your little contribution to the travel is really a way to get these people out, meet other people, and entice them to go to other trips. So really following on the details of what really happens, I don't know what is the jurisdiction here that state of New York controller is really telling us what to do with the federal money. I don't think that's his jurisdiction. And I wonder if there were other documents following up, because it is a lot of time between 1978 and 2023, it may have been something else written. Maybe somebody can find something Israeli for the years and not to shut the programs. So we need to know definitely where is the division line in the town's budget when your money becomes your money and another part of the budget becomes a federal budget. Because this addresses the federal part of the expenses, but just like Jim said, others, there are other money that you collect from the town that belong to you and belong to us. And so we really implore you to look into how you can address from that part of the budget, so you don't interfere with some law from 1978. So we need to know how is town revenue structure. We are willing to create a commission and go with your persons that deal with the budgeting here and then examine that and establish a path forward. I don't have to continue that there's more than 50% of the senior citizens in this town is a very old town, and we really have to address it. So on a closing statement, we see issue as open or closed. we'd like to follow up with you somehow, and what are you going to do about this? We are willing to put a couple of members from our group to contribute some kind of commission that will examine that. And we like to get to the point that we arrive to the point that you have a senior standard of care of town of Rush. So nothing will be like incidental from 1978, but you will have a set of rules. And you will tell your people here, in Rush, how do you really, what the heck you doing for town of Rush citizens?
Thank you.
So far I have no one on chat.
Okay, would anyone else in this audience like to speak during our open session?
We don't have to hear the boo-boo.
Going once, going twice?
If we mute it, then they can't hear the microphone.
All right. Can we shut that off?
If we turn the, I believe, for all you Zoom people out there, help us. If we turn the audio off on Zoom, no one at home will be able to hear us.
We don't want that.
And we don't want that. They can't see us, but they can. All right, so. Pam, can you try on your Zoom on the bottom, hit audio, yeah,
Yes.
let's try muting that.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, but this is on Zoom, not on.
Oh.
our computer. Yeah.
Do it down on the bottom right corner, right?
Yes.
On the bottom right corner, Pam, where you have the microphone. Yep. Yep. Open.
No, yes.
Shannon, what do you suggest? Scroll-
Yeah. if you
scroll
could-
down.
Be a loose wire.
Yeah. Turn that all the way down.
Wait,
Shannon.
sorry, if you turn that all the way down, I believe it should stop.
All right, let's see.
So the only problem is if someone is unmuted and trying to talk to us, we won't be able to hear them, so they should probably just type in the chat.
But that part of will be over at this point, so we should be okay. I'm
Yeah.
just. I'm gonna ask someone at home if you could write in the chat so we can make sure you hear us. For those of you that are at home. Oh, I could do it. No, they can't hear me. I'm already muted.
Well, I don't think there's anyone else who would like to speak. We will be lenient with those at home if they want to speak and we don't catch them now,
Okay.
okay?
Mhm.
So we now will move on to the approval of minutes and the regular board meeting of August 23rd.
They can hear us.
They can,
They
good.
Thank you, Shannon. And my notes. I so move to approve the town board minutes of August 23rd, 2023 as submitted by town clerk Busey. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Councilman Chase.
Aye.
Councilwoman Corbin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Morelli,
Aye.
Councilman Willibert,
Aye.
Supervisor Busey.
Aye. And we also have the special meeting minutes and the budget workshop from August 30th.
We have not received those to date, Supervisor.
And we can't,
We'll have to put them on the next meeting.
okay. We can move on to the approval of abstract by Councilperson Chase.
I so move, having reviewed all vouchers on abstract 9-1 of September 9th, 2023. Authorized payment totaling $49,198.53, which includes Fund AA General, for $42,106.29 and fund DA Highway for $7,092.24. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Councilman Chase.
Aye.
Councilman Corbin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Morale,
Aye.
Councilman Oliver.
Aye.
Supervisor QC.
Aye. We have no transfer of funds. So we can move on to the reports from board members, and we can start with Deputy Supervisor Corbin.
Thank you, Supervisor. I've met and had many conversations with town residents on lots of town issues, lots of emails, lots of phone calls. Been a very busy couple of weeks. I attended a public hearing with the IDA of Livingston County on their pilot proposal with Invenergy for the Caledonia portion of the Horseshoe Solar installation. They're keeping that public hearing open for 30 days. I want to make sure any Rush resident that is in the western portion of town, you either have or will be receiving a letter from Invenergy about a water study on your private system, not if you have public water, but if you have a well or a spring. And let's see if my share screen works, possibly. I'll try it in a little bit. I'm working with Todd Knab of Invenergy to ensure that the list of properties and property owners is as complete as possible. What Invenergy wants to know, if you live, they're doing a study within 1,000 feet of any leased property in Rush that Horseshoe Solar will be putting their installation on. And they're required by their permit through Albany to actually test private water systems before the installation project starts, so that they have a base level of what your private system is and if there is any impact in the future. So there is a survey. I've already received some phone calls, but when Mr. Morelli's been helping me with GIS and things like that, looking at different, making sure we have everyone covered. We noticed that there were quite a few properties that weren't included. So we've been working with Invenergy. They're increasing that list. And we're going to make sure that survey gets out to anyone that lives, again, Horseshoe Solar is going in just south of the linear trail on East River Road, along the river, down almost to Honey Eye Falls #6 road. So if you live there, you know someone that's got a private well or a natural spring, make sure if they've not gotten this survey, reach out to me, town clerk. I will make sure that, oops, sorry, she has my information to give to people, because it's imperative that we get this base level on anyone's private water system in case there is anything down in the future. Two more things. August 30, I attended the special board workshop meeting on the 2024 budget. And I continue to support and work with our recreation supervisor, Pat Stevens, and the $125,000 grant that the town received that Pat applied for and got for us for the repair of the horse barn over there on White Springs Farm. So again, been working hard on lots of stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. And how about Councilperson Morelli?
Thank you. I also attended the August 30th budget workshop meeting. Very involved where it's an important thing that we do here on the town board that for the town, and we take it very seriously, every single part of that budget. I've also am involved in water study of a different nature, and that is to bring potable water by creating a new water district for the eastern side of the town of Rush. Most of the northern side of Rush, about half of the town of Rush has access to public water. The rest does not. They're all on wells and so on. So we've been doing a study, and the next phase of that will be to request people to volunteer to allow water sampling from your wells. And I'm working on that, and I'll be working with the town engineers to get that going. So that is an ongoing project that we're working on. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilperson Chase,
Okay,
you didn't think I was gonna call you next, did
I
you?
wasn't sure where eventually I was gonna be called. So August 30th, I also attended the budget workshop. As Jean and Amber pointed out, we're working through this. It's not finalized, it's not done. We're still working through this process. It takes a lot of work to get this done. Also, I attended a comprehensive plan update committee meeting last week. We've got a draft that I'm sure John is going to fill us in on with Barbara tonight, so I think we should all be looking forward to hearing that. Also, last week, I took some time when we had a little bit of slow time at work and took our highway superintendent up on an offer to go down and visit the facilities down there. Honestly, I was surprised to see some of the disrepair that those buildings are in and that they've gotten this far. It's something that we need to look at, and I would suggest that everyone else on the board take some time and go down there and take a look at what the buildings at the highway department look like. Also, it would be great to visit with DJ. He's got some ideas on some other issues that are affecting the town presently right now. And there's potentially some solutions that he has in mind. If you guys want to go down there and meet with him or ask him tonight, he can fill you in on things. So that's what I have to report.
Thank you very much. How about Dan too?
I also attended the budget workshop. That's continuing. We'll get through it. And I attended the comp meeting last Wednesday. And that's it.
Thank you. Does our town clerk have a report?
I do. One thing I'm curious about, though, everyone has mentioned the August 30th budget workshop meeting, which was executive session. There will be no minutes for that because it was executive session. So there will be nothing to approve.
I was
I just
wondering
wanted
about
everyone to be
that.
clear with that. So there's no minutes for that special meeting. I have received the 2024 tentative town budget from the budget officer and distributed it to the town board members. Town board feedback is due to the supervisor by September 20th. August month end town clerk report will be provided to the supervisor and with a check in the amount of $17,178.22, and also a check for $400, which is for the recreation single family new builds, as well as a state check will be submitted in the amount of $2,897.38. Mostly attributed to hunting and marriage license sales for the month. Since September 4th, it is school tax collection season, and thus far since September 4th, we've collected $900,000 of the $5.6 million to be collected. There ends my report.
Thank you very much. Attorney Howell, would you like to comment with a report? Thank you very much. That allows us to move on. And we can start covering the old business portion. And we have Shannon Bellamy from Jewel, who is going to give us a little update on the activities that Jewel has planned. Pardon me?
I apologize. She needs to be made co-host so she can share her screen. It wouldn't let me do it. Shannon, right above it, one above it. Yeah, go over to the right. And make co-host there. we go.
Shannon, before you start, I should say that I've had several people stop in to see me,
Oh, yes.
asking when are we going to have a look at whatever the town is going to offer. And it was right down your alley, so I'll stop talking and let you start.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Is this on?
Yep.
Yep, okay. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Shannon from Jewel. Jewel is the Community Choice Aggregation Program Administrator for the town of Rush. So you may have seen me come talk before to give some updates, but what's happening right now is the town of Rush is exploring bids to gain an electricity supply contract to make electricity, specifically renewable electricity, more accessible to residents. So since I came last, we were preparing to go out to bid to look for supply contracts, and we've had a few responses to those bids, but they haven't quite been at the price point that we're looking for the program. So we are currently continuing to explore what's available out there for electricity supply. So we're still looking, we're still keeping an eye on the market, and we'll be back in touch with more updates for us where we are. But I did want to just make sure that everyone does have an idea of community choice and aggregation and what the program is. By a show of hands, has anyone heard of community choice aggregation or has seen me speak before about this topic? If you, okay. So if it's okay, I can give a quick just overview of that. That works. Yeah, so just so you know, community choice aggregation is an electricity purchase program for the community. So right now, you're typically with National Grid, the electricity or the utility provider. They purchase electricity on your behalf, and then you pay the rate at the market rate. This program allows for other options for electricity supply for your electricity bill. So you could have fixed rates that is set on a contract by a community that really helps to protect rates against volatile change. It allows you the opportunity to access renewable energy, and most importantly, can serve as a cap to help protect against rising price increases just kind of across the board. So it's the town is just looking for opportunities to find a contract for someone that could provide electricity for the whole community at a set rate that all community members would know ahead of time. So you'd know what you're paying for, where you're getting it. It's just another option that you have. So that's the background. These programs came into existence around 2016 and have been popping up across New York ever since. We have programs in Rochester, at the town of Henrietta now as well, and several others in the community or in the region. It impacts the electricity supply section of your bill. So that's the section that we're talking about right there. If you pay your National Grid bill. Offers the opportunity for renewable energy, opportunities for cost saving. There's no contracts, there's no exit fees or participation fees, anything like that. And National Grid would continue to be your provider. You would just have a different electricity supplier. So their role does not change at all. It is only the supply section. The top side, the delivery charges do remain the same. So it's only your electricity supply. And it is an automatic enrollment process. So just like when you signed up for electricity, you were put into National Grid's supply program. The same is true for this program. You just are transitioned over. However, it's completely up to you, and you will have an opportunity to decide on your enrollment, change it, make selections, or leave the program should you ever wish to. So there's different eligibility requirements, but when the program would launch, we would host more public information meetings, and you would receive a packet to your home letting you know that the program is coming and giving you all the program details. And so we do that. We would send out a packet. We would do a whole month of outreach and education before the program goes live, so everyone knows what's available and what's out there for them. And then the program would launch and run for the length of that contract. So that's the general structure. Right now we're looking at more into the fall or winter for a program launch, just depending on the contracts that are available. And so if you have any questions or want more information, we do have a website and some contact information, which the town can also provide to you as well. But we just wanted to let you know that we're still exploring options and that this is a very cool new opportunity that should be coming to the community to help you access some renewable energy and maybe protect against some price volatility in the electricity markets. But yeah, if there's any questions, I can take them now. Otherwise, if you'd like, please do reach out to us. We're happy to take any questions and we'll be out again. And as a town, just providing more information in the near future once we have updates. Yeah.
This is nothing new.
Mhm.
It's been around for years. These programs of supply electricity. And I've never heard a good thing about it yet. It's, well, like I was saying.
Yeah, no, and I understand that community choice aggregation programs are a little different than independent suppliers. So you may have heard of ESCOs or someone you would sign a contract with for electricity supply. That can be a little risky. They can have, teaser rates and they can kind of mislead you in some cases. It can be risky. And so that's why New York State has decided to implement community choice aggregation programs where the community as a whole is on one contract as opposed to you as an individual. That way there's no responsibility on your end. You know that the rates aren't going to change. There's a program administrator involved, the town is involved, there's state oversight and regulation. There's just a lot more protections built in. So this is kind of a new model to help offer some more options for electricity supply for residents. So I do hear your concerns, but it is different than what you're typically used to.
Your company guarantees their electricity supply.
So it's not a guaranteed savings program. The program does typically offer fixed rates, so you'll know ahead of time what those rates will be. But
one of those programs, paid them a ton of money.
yeah, and it is different. This program would have a fixed rate or a set rate going into it, and you know exactly what that was. It would not change on you. So yeah, it's very different. And once we have a contract in place, we'll be able to go into more detail about the exact pricing and how there's what's available and what makes most sense for you. Yeah.
Shannon, can you repeat because no one
Yes,
at home
sorry.
can hear what they're.
Yeah, sorry. So the program is an opt-out program. So just like when you signed up for electricity with your utility provider, unless you had your own supplier selected that you signed a contract with, you were just automatically put in the utilities program. The same is true for this program. It would become, the Town of Rush energy program. And then people would be on it by default, but you would have the option to change your enrollment or leave at any time. Yes. It does. So you'll receive in the letter, you would receive a card that gives you the option to opt out. You would just sign it and send it back in a prepaid envelope, or you could do it online or by calling us. So there'll be multiple opportunities to opt out, and we'll go over that in more detail when the program is kind of closer to launch. But you will have the opportunity to opt out at any point in time, and we can do that for you. Yeah. And then I don't know if there's any questions in the chat, but.
I do. They're just saying, make sure you repeat the question.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yes, so I think the earlier question was how it was different from a typical ESCO or an electricity supply contract.
I'm wondering, a number of folks in Rush have solar collectors on their homes. And, relationships with the power company regarding buyback and all that.
Yeah, so the question was regarding if you had your own solar or participate in solar somehow, how does that impact those rates or the rate that you sell your solar back to the grid on? And so you can still participate if you have solar or participate in community solar. It does not impact the rates at which you sell back your electricity to the grid. So it works kind of separately on your electricity bill. It's almost like a different program, in which case you would still use your solar or sell it back to the grid if you have excess, and you'd only use the default electricity supply program if your solar wasn't sufficient to cover everything. So it'd be more of a backup. So you can still do both. Yep. Great. Okay, and any questions from the board?
Shannon, do you have any idea, like, where we're at, if there's any bids that are gonna be coming back, any kind of time frame of what our next cycle might be on these?
Yeah, we're running new calculate. We've been watching it and it's been close, but it's still, we haven't quite gotten down to a rate that's acceptable for the program that's low enough. And so we don't want to go into anything that makes it, more expensive. So we are I believe we're looking again, refreshing the numbers here in the next week or so and should be able to give you a more updated timeline on if we plan to go out soon, but I don't think there's any impending bids within the next few weeks. So it'll probably be more in a month or so or in a few months. So it's unfortunately a little bit delayed, but we're just waiting for that kind of peak spot in the market. Yeah. Great. Well, thank you so much for having me and I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon.
If you can stop
Oh, yes.
sharing your screen.
Thank you.
And now we have the anticipated update on the Rush Comprehensive Plan by John Morelli, who has an associate from Labella's with him, Barbara.
Thank you. So, I sent this yesterday by email. These are just the list of the appendices to that report. A lot of the stuff is already posted online. It's stuff that we've seen. But, we try to keep moving forward
Thank you.
and
Thank
get
you.
everything for all of it. In addition, I have the implementation summary, which was not, it was chapter 13 of the report. It's not included. The summary of everything in the report. Here is an updated version of that.
Thank you.
And so.
Thank you.
Amber, we can't hear John in the Zoom.
Also, an executive summary of the report, which you have not, well, you've seen in the email I sent out yesterday, but. So if you would just now sit back and read all of this, then in 2 hours.
And John, the people at home can't hear you, so.
Oh, got it. All right.
If you need me to share anything that you send on the screen, just let me know.
Okay, I don't at this point.
Okay.
My name is John Morelli, and I have been fortunate to have been appointed by the board as the coordinator of the Comprehensive Plan Update Committee. So I'd like to begin by saying, dear members of the Rushtown Board, I'm delighted that you now have in your hands a solid, actionable, comprehensive plan for your consideration and for your approval. As you know, this represents quite a considerable effort on the part of all who have participated in this process. Many, many volunteer hours were contributed to this effort, and I'm pleased to say that we made our process as open and transparent as possible. In the appendices, you'll find a list of community engagement where we've had opportunities to engage the public, and it has been pretty extensive. The Comprehensive Plan Update Committee met considerably more often than once per month on the average throughout 2001, 2021, 2022, 23, to coordinate the preparation of the plan in collaboration with our consultant, Labella Associates, who came on board in May of 2022. The community membership offered opportunities for input by representatives of our town board, from all the town subboards, our town historian, our seniors, the Rush Recreation and Park Association, our farmers, and our business people. Reaching out well beyond the committee, we've held open houses and public workshops, sent out postcards, established a website, published information in the Rush newsletter,
and sent surveys to every adult resident in town, and achieving an excellent over 1/3 response rate in terms of people who responded to that survey. Most recently, we posted a draft of the plan for public comment and incorporated the input as appropriate. Over 20 outreach events have been held. Now the plan is on your desks. In this process, we've seen a continuing consensus among Rush residents that they strongly value the rural agricultural nature of this town and the quality of life that it offers them. We should work to maintain and improve the attributes that make up the local character. But this certainly is not to say that things could not be better. There are many things we can and we should improve upon, and I believe that this plan outlines many of the steps that we need to take, and some have already begun. I want to now introduce to you a leadership in energy and environmental design accredited professional and American Institute certified planner, Barbara Johnson, Labella Associates lead consultant for this project, to talk further about the process and the plan moving forward. Thank you.
And Barbara, if you can talk right into the microphone, that way everyone at home can hear you best,
Will do.
And you can pull it toward you if you want.
whatever you feel comfortable with.
So I'm Barbara Johnston, a senior planner with Labella Associates, and it's been an honor really to work with the town of Rush and the dedicated committee members and the members of the public who participated in the project. With more than 900 survey responses, all of my planning colleagues like, how did you pull that off? So I really think you need to congratulate yourselves and the town people for being so engaged and so involved, and sharing their thoughts about the future of the town. I think that this plan that the committee and with the help of Labella Associates have put together reflects the future vision for the community in the areas of land use, hamlet improvements, farming and agriculture, natural resources, housing, business development, utilities, energy, historic preservation, and community services. It's a comprehensive plan in that way, and that it covers all those issues and gives some direction for the town board and making decisions on budgeting, local laws, service delivery, and service providing. We like to think it represents a consensus. There was a lot of input that went into it, and I think, the committee did a great job in crafting the recommendations and the policies to reflect the community's wishes. So it's available on the website. The town board has it. What we'd like the town board to do is schedule a public hearing. It's the town board's plan. The committee worked to prepare this plan and is presenting it to you tonight for official action as the town board. So we're asking the town board to, when you're ready, to schedule a public hearing, a formal public hearing on the comprehensive plan. That does need to be noticed 10 days in advance in the official newspaper. Send a copy to Monroe County Planning for a referral. We'll help prepare the part 1 of the environmental assessment forms, because seeker does apply to adopting a comprehensive plan, but I'm not speaking for your town attorney, but the town board is the only involved agency. It's your plan. The county planning department is interested and they'll see it, but you're the only involved agency. Conduct the public hearing, adopt a negative declaration, and then adopt the plan update by resolution. I have a list of these action steps that I'll leave with you. But I think it's a very solid plan, and certainly commend the committee members who put so much time into it and, really getting it right. So it is something to appreciate and enjoy. And we've got a short version with the executive summary. And I brought a couple of maps for display, and you can look at these at your leisure. I'll leave them. The land use plan is a guide to zoning. It reflects what you have now and what you want in the future. The hamlet being an important aspect of the town. There's some key recommendations that we've highlighted on that board as well. So I don't want to go through the plan because it's available for your review, but I wanted to cover the process and make that request on behalf of the committee for the town board to accept it and to move on with the public hearing on the comprehensive plan update.
Okay. Are you going to give us copies of your, or was that in one of these, the
I
timeline?
don't think, so.
Okay, look, that she's all prepared for us.
Thank you.
If you don't, that's okay, we can share. Thank you. But you already have one.
No, I don't. Need one more here.
Wait, Dan, did you get one?
No,
We'll make copies.
Yeah, I'll get a copy.
here, I can get one. I know somebody.
I know.
Yeah, that's for you. Oh, you have one. Okay.
John, you're gonna have to talk unless you're talking to Barbara.
You had mentioned, this is John Morelli again, you had mentioned that you wanted to say something, I think, about the environmental assessment, your help with that and all of this stuff.
Yeah, I think I did say that. We'll fill out the part one of the EAF before the public hearing so that you can have that and also send it to the county planning department with the referral. So, yes, we will, that's part of our scope of work. So we'll definitely provide that over the next
That's
week.
Very helpful.
I have a question. I know you've been fortunate to have John Morelli as a partner in developing this plan for the town of Rush. But we all know how things in government work. How do we ensure that this comprehensive plan is used in the future by other administrations to ensure that the needs and wants of the people are considered when going forth with
Yes.
development?
That's a great point. And when we start talking about the resolution to adopt the plan, it would be a great opportunity for the town board to consider the structure moving forward, whether it's going to be the town board picking up, say, the implementation strategy and looking at what's been done and hasn't been done over the past year, or appointing a special board to monitor it. The implementation strategy does lay out who's responsible. A lot of those actions are, the town board's responsibility, whether it's budgeting or passing local laws. So it might be a good idea for the town board to consider a review committee or appoint an existing board to pick it up yearly or twice a year and just check in. The table format of the implementation strategy, I think, is a good way to just, pick that up and say, how are we doing? What's been done, what hasn't been done, maybe what's changed and is not needed anymore, but to set that process for at least an annual review is highly recommended.
Thank you.
Great point. Thank you.
So would we schedule that once we've had a chance to look this over for the public hearing at the next meeting?
Or schedule the public hearing. And in the meantime, look at it.
Well,
I just don't know how far in advance.
Right,
we
I didn't
have to
know if we would
schedule
be
it.
able to do the public hearing at at the next meeting, but maybe the following,
I think that's a good
First in November.
suggestion.
or October, right?
October. I'm sorry.
Let me look at the date.
First meeting in October.
First meeting in October is the 11th. The second one is the 25th. So do we want to go and schedule that public hearing?
I would-
Yes,
Yes.
All right. I so moved to schedule a public hearing on October 11th, 2023 at 7:15 PM
I'll second that.
for
Okay, sorry.
for the, what do we? For
Yeah.
public comment on the comprehensive plan? Okay, at 5977 East Henrietta Road.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Said at 7:15.
7:15. I've learned that well.
Councilman Chase,
Aye.
Councilwoman Corbin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Morelli,
Aye.
Councilman Wilbur.
Aye.
Supervisor QC.
aye. Barbara, did you want to add something?
Only that I will personally be able to attend on the 11th, but I'll send someone who's familiar with it.
Works for us. Thank you. John, do you have anything else to add? I'm looking forward to this.
Long road.
It
Oh,
has,
yeah.
and we've just done the first thing. Well, the first thing was you guys presenting it to us. Now we're right on track, aren't we?
Yes,
Right
on track. Alive and well. And now we have the pleasure of listening to an update by Carol Barnett and Marianne Rizzo regarding the Rush Recreation and Parks Association.
So you should be connected. Can you make, Pam, can you make Carol a co-host so she can share her screen? I think she's at there she is. All right. You can start sharing your screen now.
And pull the mic towards you so we can hear you well, please.
How's this?
You need
Like
help,
that,
Carol?
like that.
You have Zoom open? Where's your? Oh, there you go. There you go. Do you get rid of that little white line? I have. Presenter view never works well on Zoom.
So what, do you have a suggestion, Amber?
I've never figured it out.
Go back to where you were at.
If you get out of. Yeah.
Sorry for that delay. This is a presentation from the Rush Recreation and Park Association. I'm Carol Barnett. I'm here with Marianne Rizzo. We're presenting this to the town board and to the community. And I want to say the Rush Recreation and Park Association, or Rush RPA, is an integral part of our town, building a strong foundation for protecting our public park and recreation lands and open space. So the Rush RPA was created in 2018. It's a New York State nonprofit and federal tax exempt organization similar to the Mendon Foundation and Henrietta Foundations. Its mission is to preserve and protect public land, parkland, and green space. And since 2019, the Rush RPA has had a stewardship agreement to build the 100 Acres Nature Park, which we consider a jewel in the emerald necklace along the Genesee River. We also tend to other parkland in Rush and the town hall campus and town gardens. And I'm going to pass the mic to Miriam.
Hi, thank you for having us tonight. So I just want to tell you who our board is. I'm the president. Janet Chase is the vice president and treasurer. Carol Barnett is here tonight. Is our secretary. And also on the board is Beth Hope, Jack Mold, and Paula Smith. We have advisors. One of them is Bruce Howlett. And we also have Steve Leopold, long-term tree planner, and he works with Awakta Creek Park. And we also have Dave Kunch, who is a professor at St. John Fisher. So one of the things we did was we gave an award to Mark David for helping us beautify the town. And there you see a picture of Pam Waite and Mark David, and that was his award. So the financial report, we enlisted volunteers and we had donated more than $50,000 worth of revenue to the town, value to the town, we should say, with our volunteer efforts in our park and also in the town gardens over the past 3 years. And we submitted that financial report to the town board. And that also helps us with our grant applications. So when we apply for grants, we're keeping a tally of all of our volunteer efforts and anything that's given to the town through our organization. So that should help us hopefully with the LWRP. So we were very happy that the town board formally dedicated the 100 Acres Nature Park this year on July 12th. So we thank you so much for that. And this is a picture from the 100 Acres Nature Park, and it's of bluebells. And if you come in May, you'll be able to see these bluebells. It's just covered a wide area of land, probably 4 times the size of this room. So it's really beautiful. So I recommend you come in May to see that. You can see where the 100 Acres Nature Park is in relationship to White Springs Farm, and it's on 251. The board knows that.
So we do have a plan to build trails, and we actually started the trail today. So I think if you go by there, you'll see some real good progress today with the help of actually Bruce Howlett. It's really exciting. But we are working with the LWRP, and we'll try to get any grant we can to help us build the trail. And also we have a lot of other plans through the LWRP. So in the fall, we had an Eagle Scout work with us on field number 1, and we planted about 100 trees and bushes. And this is Christopher Lewis working with us. And his troop came. We had about 40 volunteers that day with the Boy Scouts, Troop 134. But we also had a lot of other volunteers as well. This is something we've done for 2 years. It's called live staking, and we went to the banks of the Genesee River. Well, we only had 4 volunteers that day, but we put in stakes. These were red osier dogwood stakes, and hopefully they're going to take root and they're going to help build the riverbank. And we hope to do that every year. Our goal is to cover the entire mile of the park. Oh, so we did another planting in field number 2, and we planted 100 bushes and trees in field number 2 as well. And we only had about 14 volunteers, but we made it happen. So there's just a young conifer that was planted. I think that's a balsam fir in field 2. So we did get this wonderful tree planting grant recently in partnership with Monroe County Soil and Water. And we're going to be getting 480 trees. And it's a USDA Forest Service grant. But we found out, we thought we had to plant everything within 2 years, but they changed it. And now we have 5 years to plant all the trees. Because yeah, so in the fall, local farmer and business person, Bruce Howlett, helped us install our first parking lot. And that's in field number 1. And hopefully if you come to the dedication, which we'll tell you about, you'll see that, or just come by. So we also had another Eagle Scout, a Boy Scout from troop number 7 in Henrietta. It's really nice when you have neighboring communities helping you out. And this was Liam Godonis. And his Eagle Scout project was to build 2 benches. And we gave him, one of our board members gave him plans of exactly how he wanted it. And we put it into concrete footing. And they're overlooking the river. And you really start to appreciate the beauty of the river and the beauty of the park when you sit there. This is one view from one of the benches. So we're just really fortunate to start getting our overlooks established. So yes, we're in partnership with the town of Henrietta. We're very grateful for that. Let's see here. Our proposal for the 100 acres includes the trail, the overlooks, which we've started, kiosks, signage, and parking. I mean, I know we've applied out for trees and warm season grasses. We've applied for this in the LWRP, but we're not going to just wait. We're going to do as much as we can as we go along, but we're still hoping for it with the LWRP. This gives you just a view on our part, with a whole view of the water, the area of the LWRP.
We have some other events and activities in addition to the 100 Acres Park. In the fall, we planted a memorial tree near the Rush Library in honor of Joan Starkweather, who was our beloved town librarian for so many years. And in the spring, we had the 6th annual, that is the 6th annual town cleanup sponsored by the Rush RPA. And you'll see many of your beloved Rush residents in these photographs, including the supervisor and Rush Town Board members. And the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts helped us with the cleanup. There was a bird walk at the 100 Acres Nature Park in May, and they found 72 species, which is a really wonderful thing. Gardening for 4 years in a row, the Rush RPA, in coordination with other volunteers, has planted and maintained the 13 Town of Rush gardens, and they're continuing this year. And, you know, other volunteer activities, guided walks, live staking, which we've discussed, planting, maintaining trees, fencing, weeding, mulching, cleaning up the roadside and maintaining trails. And this top picture is taken from the vantage point of an oak tree that we planted in, I believe, 2021, just looking out onto the town campus. And then the picture below is a little guy that we try to keep out of the trees with our fencing. And just some upcoming events. We have a dedication coming up, a dedication of the 100 Acres Park. It's going to be on Saturday, September 30th at 1 p.m. Everyone is invited. Please spread the word. We gave a poster to each town board member. We've been trying to invite everyone far and near. So we're going to have local officials speak. We'll have refreshments and a raffle. We just found out today about a great gift that has been donated for the free raffle. So come and find out about that. On October 17th, Tuesday, October 17th, we're going to have a Meet the Candidates night at Rush United Methodist Church, just 1 hour long. Every candidate has 5 minutes just to introduce him or herself. And it's just a wonderful, very positive atmosphere. They have new carpeting at the church, so refreshments will not be in the lobby. They'll be in a different room opposite of the sanctuary, but everyone will have a great time. Do you want to take
I just want to say something about the dedication. If you can come to the dedication, that would be wonderful. We invite all the community to come to the dedication, but in the board, if you can't, we hope you can come. And if you can't, we'd love to take you for a short walk or a tour any day. We'll just contact me. And right now we have the Gators, so we can take you for a little bit of a ride. Or whatever you'd like. So we'd love for you to see it.
question?
Oh, it's right across from the State School of Industry. It's on 251. Yes. So not far, just west of East River Road. West of the Railroad Museum.
To the river.
And
Between the rail,
Yeah,
Railroad Museum on the east and the river on the west. And again, please consider coming to the Meet the Candidates night. That's going to be a great community event. We're going to have tree planting at the 100 Acres Park. Now, this slide, and we'll spread Mary Ann Rizzo's phone number far and wide. If you ever want a tour of the park, she'll take you. And we really haven't got any plantings scheduled yet because there won't be any trees to plant before the spring. But we have maintenance activities, and if you'd like to volunteer, please go to our website, rushrpa.org, or call that phone number. We're always looking for new members. We have an annual report that is posted on our website. We're looking forward to a lot of things, planting memorial trees, the Riverfront Trail, grants, more partnerships, more members. And at the very end here, I just want to thank you. And here are your Rush RPA board members hard at work in the 100 acres. So we don't just talk the talk here, we walk the walk out at the 100 acres. Thank you.
so when you come, feel free to bring a shovel or or a bucket of water. We always need that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you. I'd like to comment that every day when I come to work, I get to look at the volunteer activity on our campus gardens. And that is such a pleasure because I can go home and tell my avid gardener spouse that I took time to look at the volunteer work this morning. And it is, and it is a delight to see that. Sometimes people don't have time to stop and smell the roses, but I have to out of a commitment, so I enjoy that very much. And we can now move on to a proposed resolution to amend the lease with the Horse's Friend.
I just had a couple questions on this. There's some significant changes to this. And I don't think we ever had an opportunity to talk about it as a board. And I think that it does require at least some conversation between the board before we can pass any resolution on
That's
this.
fine.
That's my take on it.
No, that's
The
Your
other
take is
ones,
shared.
the other two resolutions regarding that property, I think are pretty straightforward. There wasn't significant changes to those, but this one in particular, there's just a few things I think we need to discuss before we move forward on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do we want to start now with it? I wrote it all down, so.
Sure.
The first thing. That I saw, I guess, would be. The amendment to the lease as far as the time frame goes. I know, Matt alluded to it a little bit. At the last town board meeting that he wanted it extended. We just didn't have a chance to talk about it. I'm not opposed to an extension to the lease. But I think a 5-year and then a recurring 5-year lease after that would be more appropriate. So if we gave Matt the lease in August of 2022. I would be comfortable extending that lease till December 31st of 2028, which is just over 5 years. But because it was a short year in that first year, it would really be a 5-year and 5-month lease from our original acceptance of that lease. 5-year 4, 5-year 5 lease.
Having been a rental property owner in the past, I thought about that, and it's very common for the tenant to have objectivity for what the tenant would like, and also for the property owner to include what they would like. And if you have a good tenant and the tenant likes the facility that they're getting, it's very common to have the extension of a lease as long as everybody can tolerate it. And that was one of the reasons why when the lease, the proposed lease was drafted, I thought that was, my personal opinion was that was the right thing to do, because I lived not too far from there and I watched that property do nothing for 12 years.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden a horse's friend moves in and it looks like a completely different site. And I like that, so that's where I didn't comment on that.
Okay. Yeah, and it just seemed like, to me, a lot of our leases are 5 years for leasing property. That's typically our cycle.
For your business?
Yes, so it seemed appropriate to have
Right.
the 5-year lease on it.
And I know the county fair was 10, the transportation museum is forever.
Wherever.
Yeah,
And the train museum, so I think this was bringing them more into line.
okay,
That's just my
yeah,
opinion.
that's fine.
Yeah, when I first saw it going for 10 years, it was like, whoa, but the rest of the facilities are 10 years.
Right.
Okay, and then I did have another question on that. So we're also, as far as the premise that's being leased, we're adding on that south field to that was requested. That was not included,
Field was.
not included in the original, I don't believe,
This one down here,
not in the wording, it wasn't.
indicates South Field to be used by, this was in the original one. This is
I
back
didn't
from
see-
2022.
Okay, I didn't see that in the wording, I didn't see it, and I guess I didn't have the map. But in the
Okay,
wording, I didn't see
Yeah,
that this
so-
south field was included in that.
So Dan, my recollection is that the language has changed here primarily, I think, to modify for.
sorry, David.
Thank you, Pam.
Okay, so I think the primary modifications were twofold. I think one was there was I think in addition to referencing basically correcting the numbering of the buildings that were being used. Given some of the improvements that have been made. And regarding specifically the Southfield reference, that was, I think, more of a clarification. It was not, I think you're correct, that it was not specifically identified in
Yeah.
the original lease. And it's identified here. The language was rephrased to be a little bit more specific.
Okay.
Because as I had the opportunity to review it a second time, this time. I thought it would be useful to specifically call it out to reference. It was, I think it was part of the first lease, and is being used.
Okay.
I thought it was just useful to specifically.
Yeah, I couldn't
reference it.
remember clearly, and then when I was just comparing the two leases, I just saw that there was something, it was different, so I just wanted.
Right,
to bring it
and,
up.
and David did an excellent job in working again with our recreation supervisor and a horse's friend.
Okay.
To make sure everything was here, so any sort of exhibit is with this, it's not that it's not there, so.
Right,
when
no,
you
I
read-
had all the exact, I
Oh,
didn't have
okay.
them from the original.
From the ori- that's what I'm
Yes, but
saying,
in
it
the,
wasn't
in the
in the
new ones,
original.
we saw it in there.
Yep. It said it was there, but it wasn't.
Okay.
Agreed.
Anything else, Dan?
Nope, that's all I have for right at the moment.
Anyone else?
No, I'm comfortable with it. Are we, okay, I shall read a resolution authorizing the execution of an amended lease with a Horse's Friend Inc. for real property located at 6565 East River Road. Whereas on August 5th, 2022, the town of Rush entered into a lease with a Horse's Friend AHF for real property located at 6565 East River Road, which includes certain structures and pasture fields, the premises. And whereas the town and AHF have negotiated a proposed amended lease agreement, the amended lease pursuant to which, among other things, clarified the leased premises, recognized non-exclusive common areas shared with the New York Museum of Transportation, acknowledged the relocation of a fence, and extended the lease term through 2035. And whereas the proposed amended lease is a type 2 action pursuant to the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, which requires no further environmental review. And whereas the draft of the proposed lease has been submitted to the town board for review and is on file with the town clerk. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute the proposed amended lease in a form substantially similar to the proposed amended lease attached hereto, and subject to final review and approval by the attorney for the town and any other documents reasonably necessary to effectuate the same. And be it further resolved that this resolution is adopted subject to a permissive referendum as provided by New York Law, Section 64 and Article 7. And be it further resolved that within 10 days after the adoption of this resolution of the town board, the town clerk shall, as set forth in Town Law, Section 90, post and publish a notice which shall set forth the date of the adoption of this resolution and contain an abstract of this resolution, concisely stating the purpose and effect thereof. Such notice shall specify that such resolution was adopted subject to a permissive referendum. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately unless a referendum is requested, in which event it shall take effect if approved at such referendum upon such approval. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Councilman Chase.
Aye.
Councilwoman, Corbin. excuse me,
Aye.
Councilman Borelli,
Aye.
Councilman Wilbur.
Aye.
Supervisor QC.
Aye.
And if I could ask, can the document itself be numbered?
What do you mean numbered?
The agreement numbered itself be numbered, it's not numbered, pages aren't numbered.
Oh, the actual amended lease?
Yeah.
Okay,
The one I have here doesn't.
We'll
all
do
three of
that.
The documents that have been submitted previously, if they could be numbered, then I think it would be a lot easier to.
This one is numbered, but after, not number one, it's not number two.
Page is 2, 3, 4, just the
Yeah,
first page. is
Page one, I don't have a number. Page two, does it on yours or no?
Look at the second page, Pam. Is there a 2 on the bottom of page 2?
No, but I mean, the attachments are not numbered, they're,
Oh,
so they're numbered,
okay,
and even attachments, because if they get out of order because of those maps and stuff,
okay.
I just.
Yeah, the map of the
for
fence is
clarity in the future,
understood.
that would be great.
The adopted document will have those
Super, thank you.
identifiers. Thank you. All right. Now we can move on to the proposed resolution to amend the lease with the New York Museum of Transportation.
Great.
Yeah, I would like, that. Thank you.
I so move for a proposed resolution authorizing the execution of a second amended and restated lease with the New York State Museum of Transportation. Whereas the town of Rush previously entered into a lease as amended with the New York State Museum of Transportation for certain real property owned by the town of Rush. And whereas the town and the New York Museum of Transportation have negotiated a proposed second amended and restated lease agreement, the pursuant to which, among other things, recognized non-exclusive common areas shared with a Horse's Friend Incorporated and acknowledged the relocation of a fence and revised insurance obligation. And whereas the proposed amended lease is a type 2 action pursuant to New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, which requires no further environmental review. And whereas a draft of the proposed amended lease has been submitted to the town board for review and is on file with the town clerk. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute the proposed amended lease in a form suitably similar to the proposed amended lease attached hereto and subject to final review and approval by the attorney for the town and any other documents reasonably necessary to effectuate the same. And be it further resolved that the resolution is adopted subject to a permissive referendum as provided by New York Town Law, Section 64 and Article 7. And be it further resolved that within 10 days after the adoption of this resolution by the town board, the town clerk shall, as set forth in Town Law 90, post and publish a notice which shall set forth the date of the adoption of this resolution and contain an abstract of this resolution. Consequently stating the purpose and effect thereof, such notice shall specify that such resolution was adopted subject to a permissive referendum, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately unless a referendum is requested, in which event it shall take effect if approved at such referendum upon such approval.
I'll second that.
Okay. That was I don't know how you keep doing that all the time. Yeah, we'll get right on it. Here we go.
Councilman Chase,
Aye.
Councilwoman Corbin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Morelli,
Aye.
Councilman Wilbur.
Aye.
Supervisor Cusie.
Aye.
Get a bottle of water.
Who's up next?
You want us to take a breath with you, Dan?
No, I'm good. Take a breath while someone else
All
does that.
right, we can move on. We're almost done, Jim. We can move on to a proposed resolution for memorandum of understanding, the MOU, with a Horse's Friend and the New York Museum of Transportation.
That end of the table, any takers?
I'll do it. I'll do it.
I wasn't gonna let you do it again. I was gonna take one for you.
This is a resolution authorizing a memorandum of understanding with the New York Museum of Transportation and A Horse's Friend. Whereas the town of Rush has entered into lease agreements with the New York Museum of Transportation, NYMT, and A Horse's Friend, AHF. And whereas the town, NYMT, and AHF desire to enter into a memorandum of understanding with NYMT and AHF relating, among other things, to the safe operation of trail/railroad crossings and the location of a fence. And whereas the attorney for the town has prepared the attached draft memorandum of understanding, which has been reviewed and approved by NYMT and AHF. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute memorandum of understanding in a form substantially similar to the attached draft and as may be approved by the attorney for the town, and be it further resolved that the supervisor is authorized to execute any other document which may be reasonably required to effectuate the memorandum of understanding. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Councilman Chase,
Aye.
Councilwoman Corman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Morale,
Aye.
Councilman Oliver,
Aye.
Supervisor QC.
Aye. Next, we have a resolution to renumber resolution of June 8th, 2022, number 156-2022, regarding amending chapter 100-25 of the town code regarding payment of fees for subdivisions application. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
We have to read the resolution, though, right?
Yes.
I thought you read it.
No.
You said, do I have a second?
You were acting like that.
I said, no. I didn't know how much you had to read.
Anyone?
I'll
Okay,
take
I'll
a
do it.
turn.
Oh,
Yeah,
thanks,
that's
Dan.
good.
But it looks like this particular resolution covers more than that one date.
It covers, right,
Two.
it covers two in one. The agenda has two different, but it's put
It's
together.
the same
into
one.
Okay,
Okay.
Same
I was
one.
I
confused.
see where the problem was.
Okay, very good.
Whereas on June 8th, 2022, the town board of the town of Rush passed resolution 156-2022 to adopt the local law number 6 of 2022 to amend chapter 100-25 of the town code of the town of Rush regarding payments of fees for subdivision applications. And whereas on January 25th, 2023, the town board passed resolution 95 of 2023 to adopt a local law to amend chapter 80 of the town code to require prior written notice of defective and hazardous conditions. And whereas the aforementioned local laws have not been filed with the state of New York Secretary of State, and now therefore be resolved, the town board hereby renumbers local law number 6 of 2022 to amend chapter 100-25 of the town code regarding the payments of fees for subdivision applications, and local law number of 2023. And be it further resolved, the town board hereby renumbers the local law of 2023 to amend chapter 80 of the town code to require prior written notice of defective and hazardous conditions as local law number to be determined of 2023. And be it further resolved that the aforementioned local laws are to be immediately filed with the state of New York State Secretary of State. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Councilman Chase,
Aye.
Councilwoman Corbin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Morale,
Aye.
Councilman Oliver.
Aye.
Supervisor QC.
Aye. We don't have to do them.
Yep, we did those together, yep.
We did it together. All right, I want to just, we've talked about transportation, we've talked about electric activity in town. I wanted to remind everyone, I wish the whole crowd was here, that there is an electric vehicle show at RIT. I believe it is on September 30th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you're interested in considering electrical vehicle in your future, that's a good show to go to. There will be a lot of different models. And you can see what it's all about. People will be there to answer questions. And being an electric vehicle driver for 7 years, I love it. Best car I've ever owned. So go to the show and find out if it's in your future. We can now move on to new business. And the fact that we will declare Indigenous Peoples' Day by proclamation on October 8, 2023. We also will hang the, I hope I get this right, the Haudenosaunee flag at our entry door for the entire month of October. Does anyone else have a comment?
I'd just like to say the speaker at Indigenous Peoples' Day on October 8th, it's a Sunday, will be at the Methodist Church. And the speaker's name is Bradley Paulus, and he will be speaking on the effects of residential schools. I've been on a lot of documentaries over the last number of years. Canadian US government forcibly attempted to assimilate Indigenous children by removing them from their parents and educating them in residential schools. Often the children never returned. Mass graves at some schools are being discovered. Residential schools operated from the early 1800s to 1960. So he will be speaking on that topic at 2:00.
Any other comments?
Yeah. Nope.
Okay. We can move on to the town clerk's presentation of the tentative 2024 budget.
Presentation is that you all have a copy of it.
Thank you for that presentation.
You're welcome.
Given our feedback is due by the 20th, which is a week from today, my question is, are we going to do another work? I don't know. The turnaround time is pretty quick for the feedback to you.
Does, I have received no feedback from board members.
We only
We
got
just
it
got
this
it.
afternoon.
We just got it today.
Well, that's still a fact,
I could
True.
talk to you later.
but
Councilwoman Corman, having read that, I read that from our tentative schedule.
Right, that's what I
So
have it too.
I think that there is some kind of flexibility, I
Okay.
believe, with the budget officer, so.
All right. I didn't know if we were supposed to meet with you individually, supervisor, if we were supposed to meet with the budget officer, or
what would you
a
prefer?
combination as a group.
I think it deserves some discussion.
We need the budget officer with
I-
us.
I
I
would like
agree,
to, I don't know. how-
So is it, so I guess what the question is September 20th a hard day?
No.
Okay, so
Oh,
we have,
okay.
so we have some room to wiggle as far as date goes. then.
Yes,
Right, the
Okay.
public hearing is scheduled for October 25th from the tentative schedule, but
but that's independent of this.
right,
Okay.
we just have to have it all done by then for
Okay,
the public. Okay. All right,
So I guess will we have a meeting, another like
work
after
on-
the next town board meeting, will we have a meeting with Janice or how do we,
we will,
if we need to, do we? If,
I-
like, can we give you feedback and then we can touch base on it again? How do you want, how
you
does it
can do
normally
that.
work?
That would be perfect.
Give you feedback and then schedule something?
I need to sit down with the budget officer though, too.
Yeah,
There's numbers on here I can't quite,
And we
Put
can,
together.
we can schedule a meeting for the budget officer to be present
Okay,
to
yeah,
react.
then why don't we do
Respond.
that, like after the next town board meeting, have another executive session, or is that time enough? Does that work?
That'll work.
I don't know.
I've never done it. I have no idea. We've never done
Yeah.
it like this. I'm just curious how it works.
We can do that. If you have objection to that, let me know.
The next meeting is the 27th, I think,
Yes,
of September. But then they have to be able to put the budget, the
It would have to be finished and then
limit, right,
enough time to do a
For the-
notice on
I
it.
wish I had the budget tentative schedule in front of me.
I have that.
We're definitely way ahead of last year.
I just wanted
Can
to
you
make
pass
sure
this
that
over to
the
Bill?
tentative gives enough time for her to do the preliminary, which can't be changed.
So the public has enough time to read it ahead before the public hearing.
Right.
Yeah, because what you're saying is the budget officer files a preliminary town budget with the town clerk on the 26th. So that means that you're not gonna have enough time. So
Right.
my suggestion to the town board was to schedule another meeting with the budget officer to discuss before the 26th.
Are you saying two different meetings?
Yes, I'm saying one separate, like the August 30th meeting that you had separately with the budget officer, to schedule another one just like that before you meet on the 26th.
Yes, I agree.
Is the 26th the hard?
The
Date?
27th is the town board meeting.
Right.
27th is a hard, yeah, what she's gotta do is combine what you
Right.
discuss.
Right.
And put it into the preliminary, which can't be.
Which,
exactly
So
right.
if we scheduled it, can we just do another budget workshop or executive session like for next Wednesday then?
sure.
The 20th.
Mhm.
That work for everybody? Does that give enough time?
As
Pam?
long as she's
Okay.
available.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So
We can do that.
So I so moved to schedule a special workshop executive session on Wednesday, September 20th. Do we want to do 7 or 6? We did 6 last time.
Do it.
Let's do
Fine.
6 because if it's anything like the last one, we're not gonna get out of there till
Okay.
11:30.
Bye.
At 7, so.
At 6 p.m. at 5977 East Henrietta Road.
Yep.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
pending the availability of the budget officer.
Thank you. So move.
Good catch, man.
And who seconds
I
that?
second it.
All in favor?
Aye. Anyone else have anything?
As far as advertising for a secretary,
Jean was just showing me that,
has it been advertised on Indeed at this point, or do we need to add that to the motion? Because
I have discussed that a little bit with the supervisor, and it is a bit of a costly.
I know, but that seems to be where we've gotten the pennies. I'm sorry, I would not even put it in the penny saver. I
So,
put it on Indeed.
What we're doing, it's costly, and at the same time, I believe that maybe the budget officer would want to take that on as the HR person, because it is time consuming to look through all that do come in, if there are as many as there were last. time.
Right. But this is just authorizing you to advertise for it on that, but
We
she
are already advertising on the website and in 3 different penny savers.
right, but I would like it in Indeed. That's where we've gotten the best response out of.
What
so
kind of
many.
cost is it, Pam? Do you know off the top of your head roughly?
Roughly, I think we did between $400 and $500 with the supervisor secretary,
The last listing?
the last listing. And right now, I'm not able to, during the tax season,
Right.
handle that as well.
Well, no, I think I think the HR person should be doing all this, but I do not want to spend the money on the penny saver. I just don't feel it's.
Well, it's
It's
already
worth
in
it.
there at this point, right?
Yeah,
Well, then why are we authorizing it here if it's already?
because I talked to the
We need to get it
supervisor,
in.
we needed to do it right away, so I did it right away.
Right. Well, I would like it on Indeed. I'm gonna make that motion and you can either turn me down or not.
I just want a secretary.
I know, and that's where the response compared to the penny saver, I've been on this.
Well, we've
board.
had good luck with the penny saver in the past.
We have not advertised in the penny saver. We've done all Indeed.
The only time that we advertised is only the last time. Previous to that, we always did penny saver.
But
Yes.
that's not where we got the people that are currently here. They all came from Indeed. Janice came from Indeed. All those other people came from Indeed.
Yeah.
So I so moved, were you gonna read that? I so moved to authorize the town clerk to advertise for a secretary to the supervisor. I'm gonna say yes.
I'm sorry, I'm just conveying.
Yes.
what Steve just indicated, that there's a free version of Indeed. that
There's a
is,
free version. Thank you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And the penny saver and on Indeed. Is there a second?
I second it.
So you're authorizing me to do the Indeed.
No, I think
No.
Janice.
To choose in the and Supervisor, I so move to authorize the town clerk and the HR person, Janice Smith, to advertise for a secretary for the supervisor in the Genesee Valley Penny Saver and on Indeed. We can figure out where. who's
I
gonna-
second that motion. And we
I
need,
didn't say for free. so.
we need to look into the free version.
Yep.
I will talk about that with Janice
So
tomorrow.
you seconded it, I moved it.
Yes,
Councilman Chase.
Aye.
Councilwoman Corbett.
Aye.
Councilwoman Raleigh.
Aye.
Councilman Oliver.
Aye.
Supervisor QC.
aye.
Now I'm done.
All right.
I don't need a free version, so, because I thought we did have a try on one.
Mhm.
Having no further business to discuss, I hereby adjourn this meeting. We are going into executive session. I would like the town clerk to stay. I would like Supervisor Schultz to stay. And I would like Attorney Howe to stay. Thank you very much.
The purpose of the executive session.
Did you get out downstairs? Did you
Pardon?
get out downstairs? Did you use the-
Employment of a particular person.
I'm not sure.
Phyllis, I want to Phyllis something.
You ready to go, Phyllis?
Okay, Phyllis,
Yeah, you can get out.
if I can get out of my chair.
Pause the recording.
Nice seeing you folks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for coming.
Night.
Jim, I ordered a special pizza just for you tomorrow.
We're still
I'm
recording
eating breakfast.
live on YouTube.
And I think you're the only one that can do. I've got us paused if you can